Luxury Staffing, the podcast by Morgan and Mallet.
Hello there, podcast listeners. In today's episode of the Luxury Household Staffing podcast by Morgan and Mallet, we've got co-founder Morgan Richez, and today's topic is all about new generations and what they're looking for, new generations of candidates. So welcome to your own podcast, Morgan. And could you just give us a brief introduction about your career, how you started and why you set up Morgan and Mallet?
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much for having me in my own podcast. Thank you so much. So my name is Morgan Richez. So as you say, I'm the co-founder of Morgan Mallet, and I created the company with Lauren Mallet more than 12 years ago now in London. And now we are the only agency with a worldwide network. So we got many agencies in US, Europe, UK, Middle East, Switzerland. And yes, we can say we are the leading company now. We are happy and proud about that. We've got the best recruiter in the world.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I've been speaking with them. They are really, really impressive. So today's episode, as you know, we're going to be talking about younger generations of candidates. And I'm just curious, first question, what motivates younger professionals to enter household service today?
I think this is the next step after hospitality. What I can see, the young generation, they start by the luxury hospitality, 5-star hotels, but they really want to switch straight away to the private sector, because for many things, because they really want to work in a luxury environment, which is so attractive, I would say. And I was the first one who was very attracted about that, to live in a luxury property, to travel with a private jet. So this is very fancy for the young generation. And secondly, this is better salary compared to the 5-star hotel. For example, if you're a butler in a 5-star hotel and butler in a private sector, the salaries are not the same, So it's a very good motivation for the younger generation. And I think they can travel more as well, as we discussed many times, the clients, they travel with their own staff now. So this is a way as well to travel for the young generation.
Yeah. And do you see any difference in their values in the younger generation compared with older generations?
Yeah, exactly. Now the way how the employer treat the staff, this is so important. The candidate now, they are very they question a lot, about the family, what they expect, the relationships they are going to get, with the employer. So this is the behavior of the employer, this is so important, This kind of question, we didn't get this kind of question before, with the old generation.
I see. And would you say the duration that they stay in positions has changed as well?
Yeah, the most important is not the money anymore. I would say if they are comfortable, the accommodation is good, the work is well organized, the communication is good. This is the first important things for them.
Right, I see. And would you say that they're more focused on career development or balance, lifestyle balance, or prestige? Which do you think is the most important for them?
I think not the career anymore. When I was young, the most important is to say, okay, I would like to reach this target, when I get a little bit old, but not the young generation anymore. Now the people, they would like to travel, they enjoy the present time, and they do not plan, the next 10 or 20 years. It's not like this anymore. The most important is to find the right employer and to get a good salary, And the other thing is about the rest, It's very important for them to have a day off, and to plan some day off to get a private life, The young generation won't accept anymore to work 7 days a week, like we did before.
Okay. And how can employers attract and retain this new generation of staff?
Exactly with what we discussed before, a good communication, a clear job description. This is so important. So that's why at Morgan Mallet, we discuss a lot with the employer, and the clients in order to have a clear communication with the candidate to say, okay, this is the job, this is what you are going to do, this is the staff inside the property, what you are going to do, the day off, the holidays, every single details are so important now. This is a must, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. Would you say that the younger staff, we talked about the communication being very important. Would you say that they're more demanding about boundaries as well? I guess you would, no? Because you talked
Yes,
a lot about the day off and the
exactly.
respect and and the
Exactly. They
organization.
would like to find a good balance, between the money and the work and the rest and the private life. So they try to get the right balance, which is not easy in the private sector or even in the hospitality. So that's why it's a game. For example, that some candidate understand that there is no many candidate for a job sometimes. So they push a little bit, in order to get the best condition, which is good, I would say. Yeah? And
Hmm.
this is a game between the clients and the employer and the candidate, to find the match and who's going to accept what.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say because on previous calls, we have mentioned that the salaries are huge, but the sacrifices are huge as well. So it's sort of like it's quite difficult. But are you seeing less younger people coming into this industry?
Yes, I got this example. We were talking with Gilles Kuhn in south of France, who is the one who plays a lot of domestic couples.
Mm.
And now it's not easy at all to find a young domestic couple. And at Morgan Mallet, we've got many, many job open, for that, especially between Monaco, Saint-Tropez. But this is the case in the Hamptons as well, not too far from New York. We got this case, and it's not easy to find a really good domestic couple between 25 and 35 or 40s.
Right. And I, I've asked you before what the solution is. And when I found out, I thought it was quite interesting. Could you just tell us again what the solution is? If, like, after, say, what is the period after 2 months? Let's just say you can't find a domestic couple. What's the next step? Do you wait 2 months? Is it 3? How long?
Any case are very different. Sometimes the issue is from the salary, the accommodation, or even for the job description. So that's why, as an agency, we need to analyze this very precisely to understand what's wrong. But from the beginning, it's better to do that. Sometimes when we do not find any candidate, we try to negotiate with the client if it's possible to hire two people. Not a couple. Like a butler and one housekeeper, or one gardener, one driver, we try to separate the role in case if we don't have anyone. Or the other solution is to find some couple with 1 or 2 years experience, a little bit less than Morgan expect. This is 5 years experience minimum to apply at Morgan Mallet. But we explain to the client maybe he should be a little bit flexible about the experience and to accept people who used to work in a luxury hotel as a couple, or maybe to some people who used to have a restaurant together. We try to find something not too far from the private sector.
Yeah, because I imagine it's a bit of a challenge for a client because they will have the accommodation all set up for a domestic couple, and then the agency is saying, okay, how about we split this role? It's going to turn the whole operation. It's going to make it more difficult, isn't it? Because they won't be able to provide
Yes.
the live-in
Yeah,
accommodation.
it depends because sometimes we can offer a living for example, for the housekeeper, and for the butler, for example, we can find someone around, and who's not living too far. So that's why every case is completely different, and we try to find a solution every single time. This is our role to do that. But we are lucky enough at Morgan Mallet to have a lot of visibility in the world. So we found solution. We can find some domestic couples. Sometimes we can bring some people from UK to south of France or even to Switzerland. We have many applicants. So every single time we've got a solution for the clients.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, just going back to the original topic of younger generations, do you see any tension between younger workers and older workers in the same team? Have you ever seen that?
Yes, of course, we got unfortunately some cases. This is for many households. When you got a house manager, estate manager with around 60 or 55, and they hire a new chauffeur who's got a 25, 30. Sometimes you got some miscommunication. So sometimes the old generation are too demanding. They are too pushy, and even the way how they talk to the young people are not the good one. And some young people sometimes it doesn't take seriously some urgent matter, I would say. But again, my best advice is to get a good communication in a calm way, to have some meeting, and to have this honest discussion. This is my best advice.
And from your days in private staffing, did you ever have any conflicts like that?
Yes, of course. Of course, yes. Yes.
Can you tell us about one?
Yes, but I used to work with a domestic couple in a private household in London, and sometimes it's not easy to work with a domestic couple, especially when they manage a property, because they are a couple, So of course, the man's going to defend the woman, and the woman's going to defend the husband, and sometimes they are not always right. And sometimes you got some injustice, and this is not easy. But when someone told you there is no issue in a household, this is not possible, because this is a small place, every single month or every 3 months you've got an issue. But the most important is to stay professional in the communication.
Can you give us some details about this domestic couple in London that you worked with? Was there any drama? What was the conflict about?
No, the conflict is, the way how they talk, to say you need to do that, you need to do that, When it comes to a very busy time, that's fine, you don't have the time to say yes, please, and to have this polite way to talk, But this property was empty, the employer was outside the country, so we got the time, you can discuss, you can, you have the time to talk to the good way, and I think it's not good to be too tough with your colleague, even if they are only butler or chauffeur. This is not the good way. It's very important to have this good ambience. I think this is a key role to manage a property, but it's very important, the ambience,
So they were being quite tough with the way they were communicating with
Exactly.
you. And what did you do about it?
I left. I resigned after a few years. I resigned because of this, because it was not,
because of
it was
them.
good. Yes, of course. Yes. And,
Did you tell the client? Did you tell the
yes, of
principal?
course. Yes, of course. I'm sorry, but this is not a place to go. I'm not saying I didn't blame them, but I say, the way how they manage, this is not for me, and simple like that,
Interesting. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Final question. What advice would you give to principals to build or who want to build a strong multi-generational team?
The best advice, of course, is to hire people with experience. I think this is a must. That's why this is plenty the role of Morgan Mallet to select people with experience. It's very important to check the longevity of people. Doesn't matter if they are young or old. If the people move every single month or every single years, this is a red flag for me. So that's why you need to find people who stay at least 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years in the same property. It's very important to check the references, of course. And maybe during the trial period, when you hire the people, you need to make some tests, as the employer, to put them in a stress situation, in a quiet time, and maybe to organize something during the day off, to pay some events, like that they can spend time together. It's like a company, by the way, This is exactly the same kind of management,
Like send them to a bowling activity, like a team building activity.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just help
exactly.
them relax out of work together. Interesting.
Exactly.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. I think that's everything for this episode. Thank you, Morgan, for appearing on your podcast. And thank you very much for our listeners, of course. And you can find all our episodes, Spotify, Apple, Deezer, Amazon Music, and YouTube. And if you head over to householdstaff.agency /podcast, you'll be able to find a load more podcasts. And if you've got any questions, or if you'd like me to ask Morgan about more about other topics, just send in your questions. You'll be able to find contact details on householdstaff.agency. So thanks again, Morgan. Have a great day, and thanks to our listeners.
Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye bye.